Hey everybody, it's Camille. Tap in. Go ahead and hit that notification bell and subscribe. We're gonna hop right in, just doing a couple of housekeeping things before we get started. So we're live on Facebook and on YouTube. Hit a heart or a thumbs up to let me know that you can hear me. Um, we are doing the Friday Creative Connect, and this is going to be a very interesting conversation this afternoon or early morning going into your lunch hour. So, before we hop into anything, if you happen to miss last night's episode with my guest, LaShawn Chandler, you can catch that later on today, not right now because we're doing this, or this evening on my YouTube channel. It was a really good conversation for women, and it was just a really good heart to heart conversation. Be sure to let me know where you are watching from across various streaming platforms and let me know if you can hear me. Um, let's see here. I'm looking at the screen where it is. There we go. So be sure to follow me. I'm across various platforms such as the Speaker Podcast here on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube at Camille Essick, on Instagram at Camille.Essick. And I would love to hear from you. You can send me an email at thespeakerpodcast@gmail.com. And y'all, guess what? So I have some creative tools available, which we're going to talk about more in depth throughout this live today. But more importantly, I want to welcome everyone to Creative Connect. I am Camille Essick. I am the creator and founder of the Speaker Podcast. I'm streaming across multiple platforms such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Pandora. We're now streaming in 49 countries and 973 cities. We're available on other platforms such as Amazon. We got picked up by Audible not too long ago through Amazon, and we're also on AfriPods, which is like an African version of iHeartRadio. So we're streaming across in those continents and spaces as well. I'm very excited about what's coming forth as we are wrapping up the first quarter of the year. I cannot believe y'all, it is March and that we are here. So y'all. Oh yeah, I want to also let you all know that on next Thursday, this coming Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, my guest is Deshaun Gales. We're going to have a really good conversation for creatives, those in the digital spaces, photography, and so much more. And that is a conversation you do not want to miss. That is available. They will be available on my YouTube and Facebook pages that will be airing live. In addition to, you can check out the entire lineup for the month of March on my website at CamilleEssick.com. Also, while we're there, if you are looking for stock elements and other items, you can go right now to my website and we have new items and collections available. So if you have printables, printable products, website creation, if you're doing journals, planners, anything that you need with representation from our community is there. We have things, I have things for the curvy girls, I have things for men. I've also released some new items for those in the mental health space. If you're a therapist, mental health advocate, anywhere in that space of wellness, I have created some Instagram templates available. Feel free to resize them. You can also change the colors and fonts or just use them as they are. And those items are available on my website at CamilleEssick.com, and you can grab those anytime throughout this live. The reason why I wanted to come on and talk with you all is the topic of this today, the live for today, is the importance of showing up your presence and how much it matters. And so, just a little bit about my backstory and my journey. I did not expect, anticipate to be in this podcasting space at all. It was so out of my wheelhouse. It was not what I planned to do. It was not what I anticipated. It really caught me off guard. Those that have been following me for a while, I started out, I had my own beauty brand, Kamiki Mink Lashes, and I had joined a glam squad called the Real Glam Room. Shout out to Queen Campbell, everyone there, Charles West, Yolanda Morant, Nostalgia, Nikita Neal, um, Chrissy Elizabeth, so many amazing people I met during that time. And so during that time, doing the makeup and the lashes, having my own lash brand, love doing it. Y'all, I'm sorry, my throat is dry and my sinuses are draining, so I apologize. But I love doing that because I could show up but still be behind the camera. I wasn't really out front as much, just because the makeup industry is very interesting because it's like you can be present, but you really don't have to speak a lot. So when God had me move into the digital space, it was really him pushing me, to be in front of the camera more, which is something I was not comfortable with, which is what I want to get into with you all this morning, late afternoon or early afternoon. So in doing so, um, no background in digital media. I had never podcasted before, was not into graphic design. Um, my experience with digital marketing media, I was a novice. And actually, at the time, I was a college dropout. So during the process, I went back to school to finish my bachelor's degree. I had my associate's degree, but I had not yet at that time completed my bachelor's degree. And so I did that. Fast forward, I ended up getting a master's in communication with the concentration in strategic communication. And in that process, God was really showing me that my voice mattered, my show up mattered, my presence mattered. But what really got me was he had me doing something not in my wheelhouse, a place I had no experience in, no knowledge, just clean slate. But what I learned during that process and the journey was he can provide along the way. And so one of the things I did was I remember taking some oil and I prayed over myself and I was like, "Okay, God, if this is what you really want me to do, open up my creativity, my understanding to understand this, place people in my life so that can pour into me and guide me along the way because I had no resource, no understanding, no background." And as soon as I pretty much said, "Yes, okay, I'll do this," even though I don't understand why, immediately resources, information began to open up to me. And yes, there are other podcasters out there, and even whatever in your field that you may be in, um, you have so many people doing the same thing, but nobody can do it the way you do it. And there's someone waiting for your show up. There's someone waiting to hear your voice, but you have to be present. But my presence also provided provision. And that's a lesson I'm learning then and even more so now. So during the time of creating this podcast, creating the podcast cover, figuring out how to even write an episode, how do I do that? How do I get guests? Everything. Um, just so quickly how everything came to me of yes, I had to roll up my elbows, my sleeves on my elbows, and I had to get in and do some work and some homework and some research. I didn't know anyone I could reach out to show me or guide me through this process, and so literally I hate to use that phrase "got it out of the mud," but I did, starting from scratch, bare bones, nothing. And that knowledge base is what led me to my first ebook, How to Start a Podcast for Less than $100. And I've really been thinking about revising that edition because since then I've learned so much more and considering adding more to it just to expand it because as I grow in this space, my knowledge base has expanded tremendously since when I released that first ebook. But in that process of provision by my presence, um, you can see and learn how your show blesses other people. And I'll give you an example. So it was during the pandemic and I had an episode with a guest, and we were talking about mental health and how to create a mental health emergency plan. And so for those that don't understand or know what that is, just like you have egress for maybe active shooter or a tornado or a fire drill, it's just as important if you have a mental health emergency plan for yourself or a loved one or anyone in your family. And during this podcast episode, it was a live. It did not receive a lot of views. I literally think it was probably at that time, maybe two or three on the live, like during the actual live. And I was so discouraged, like, oh my gosh, why am I doing this? This is not even my wheelhouse. This is not in my lane. And I really wanted to dismantle everything. I really wanted to dismantle everything. And a couple days later, my guest reached out to me and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that we did this episode." And I was like, "Really?" Because, it wasn't really viewed, it didn't have a lot of engagement. And she says, "No, because there was someone watching and they made plans to take their life into their own hands. But because they saw our conversation, the live, they decided to reach out and get help." And in that moment, it was very surreal to me, and it made me realize that this is bigger than an algorithm, this is bigger than going viral or views, this is bigger than me, and it makes you think or makes me think, like, "What if I had not done that episode? What would have happened?" And so I've said before that someone's life is depending on your obedience. So sometimes you feel like, "Man, I don't understand why I'm doing this, or why does God have me in this space?" But you never know how your show up is going to bless someone else, and you just never know. And so from that point forward, for me, it went beyond an algorithm and views and subscriptions and follows. Of course, we celebrate those things and we're grateful. I'm grateful for the support. But at the end of the day, someone is assigned to your voice, whether if you're in podcasting, if you're a consultant, if you're a designer, an artist, a singer, whatever it is that you do, real estate, whatever it is that you do, someone needs your voice, your presence, your gifting because it's like a thumbprint. It's unique to you. And so since then, you all coming along with the podcasting, I have opened up in other ways as far as creativity in ways I cannot imagine and becoming the creative's creative, right? And I'm one person, I'm not available 24/7. So what I've done, if you some point after this live go to my page, I have some information there and just announcing the release of my creative cafe. I'm very excited about this. So the creative cafe is something, it's like me, but it's more of a 24/7 version of myself, and there you can get information. You can literally drop in questions and get on the spot immediate responses. The Creative Cafe, if you have questions about something that you've designed or created, or if you have questions about wording certain emails, administrative questions. If I'm not available, because a lot of times I'm not, just because of my schedule between traveling, doing work for other clients and things, sometimes I'm not always available and accessible on the dime. So I've created this space for my creatives, those that follow me. You can tap in here at any time. There should be a link there in the comments where you can access that and you can drop in questions and get those responses. And I say that it's for every creative anytime. And I'm very excited to release this for you all. In addition, it will direct you to my website for creative tools and resources because as we're in this digital space, we are seeing the rise and the shift in the world of technology and information. And for those of us within our community, we need those resources and to close that digital gap, to close that technology gap. And so this is a great way and a great space for you to access me after hours, and this portion of it is free. There will be other things coming that may be more detailed. There may be a small minimal fee, but this service is absolutely free to those that are creatives and that are following me on Facebook. I will also make this available on my Instagram in my studio, and I'll be sure to drop that there after this live as well. But I'm really, really excited to announce this for you all. Um, you can literally ask it like, "Hey, I need insider question on this email for a client. What are your thoughts on this?" It is literally like a virtual resource tool for creatives, and so I hope that you all take advantage of this. It will be here for as long as I say so, and as updates come, I will let you all know, but I'm really, really excited to have this resource available for my followers on social media. And so, yes, the Creative Cafe is here, and I'm very, very excited about that. In addition to, I am making some other announcements later on this month, and I'm really excited about those. Excited about that as well because it's going to tie in everything, the Creative Cafe, speaker podcast, um, some really good things. And I really don't want to what they say, spoiler alert, I really don't want to do that, but just kind of dropping a little Easter eggs or goose eggs there so you all can kind of anticipate some things coming on. I don't want to speak too soon because we've got to let some ink dry on some things, but I'm very excited about that. More importantly, make sure that you're showing up. Even for me, stepping out of my comfort zone, this is my second Creative Connect live in the last 2 weeks, and I made I won't say a promise to myself, but I'm challenging myself in 2025 to show up more, to do more of these lives to connect with you all. Also, because I need to stretch and grow as a creative. I tend to hide behind posts and just post things, but people want to know your story. They want to know your journey because it's all about connection and being more transparent and relatable. And so stepping outside of my introverted bubble, I'm like an ambivert, like I'm introverted, but I know how to be extroverted when necessary. And then when it's over, I go back to being an introvert. So just as I'm challenging you all to step up more, this is for me too. And you can see I'm doing it. I'm here. I'm showing up. It's not easy, trust me, it's not, but it's gonna pay off in the end because everything that we do, everything that we create, every live, every post, there's a bigger picture, and sometimes we cannot see it, sometimes we don't realize it. We may have questions, and guess what? That's okay, but make sure you're progressing along the line, along the journey, and ask those questions, and God will give you clarity and more insight as you go along. So, as I say, I'm not gonna hold you. This was just a quick little 15-minute pop-up for the Creative Connect. More importantly, it was just a way for me to also launch and create another resource for creatives, the Creative Cafe. It's every creative at any time. The information, the link is in the post that has already been released during this live. So after this live, go to my page on Facebook. You all can check that out and begin to access and utilize that now immediately. And be sure to tap in on this coming Thursday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time with my guest, Deshaun Gales. We're going to have an amazing conversation for creatives, and that will be live on Facebook and YouTube this coming Thursday at 8 p.m. Also, y'all, I have new items available on my website, including stock elements. So if you have digital products, calendars, journals, things for your website, those items are there, and I'm constantly adding new things. I just released three new collections this week for those in the mental health space. So if you're a therapist, mental health advocate, um, anything dealing with the mental health profession, wellness, holistic, those designs are available there on my website at CamilleEsk.com. And I just want to say thank you all for just showing up and tuning in. I know a lot of people are at work and maybe they're missing this. And you can catch this live later on. So be sure to tag some friends and tap in and just know your show up matters. People are waiting to hear your voice. Provision comes along the way. You might not have all the tools and everything that you need, even in the podcasting space, no clue. But as I began to proceed down this digital journey, God began to provide not just the physical things like a camera or a microphone thing or ring lights, but just information and people that were willing to pour into me. And that's another thing. Um, Give people some fruit and show them why they should pour into you. Um, but most importantly, invest in yourself first because most people, just like in investor spaces, they're not going to give or invest or donate until they see some fruits. So show up, invest in yourself, and then as you go along, God will provide people to pour into you to increase your capacity and your ability. You might not have everything and know of everything up front. You will make mistakes along the way, and that's okay. I have done so and continue to do so. But in that process, being gracious to myself, understanding this is a continual learning process, and seeing, okay, like I didn't do that right. So correct it or figure out why I messed up in that space or made that error, correct, learn more about it, and move on. But don't beat yourself up because you will not get it right every time. At some point, it will get better and you'll mature in your creativity and understanding, but there will always be something to learn. And just work within the learning curve. So I hope this encourages you all and you all have a great day. Be blessed. Happy Friday. Be blessed. And I'll see you on the next live. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Speak Her podcast. Be sure to follow Camille on Instagram